Well, on a different note, for vinyl record lovers, there is nothing quite like that sound when the needle hits the groove. And now a London company has found that China is a fast-growing market for old classics recreated on vinyl using 50-year-old technology. And as Catherine Drew reports, it's a real labor of love.
The machinery, the music and the technology are all from the 1950s and 60s, the high point of analogue recording. But this is not a scene from 60 years ago. Today in West London, a small team are cutting vinyl from masters so precious they're kept under lock and key.
This was in a very poor state, and again, the two machines together took around 3 years to restore.
Founder and owner of the electric recording company, Pete Hutchison, had many years' experience running the Peace Frog record label when he approached EMI to license master tapes of some key classical recordings.
The problem was that nobody had the original equipment. So, you know, I'd ring up the major studios, the big names, and say, look, I want to remake this record from the 50s using the original valve equipment, cut it in mono, and nobody had that equipment working. So I then had to go on this this sort of pilgrimage, if you like, to find the original equipment, get it restored and up to scratch and in working order.
So far, the Electric Recording Company, or ERC, has issued 15 classical titles with a usual run of 300 discs. The artwork reflects the recording. It is done using 1950s printing technology. Single disc albums sell for around $500 each and become collector's items in their own right. A limited run of copies of this studio here in West London to be shipped around the world. Around 50% of them will be bought by collectors in East Asia. Collectors in mainland China, Hong Kong, South Korea and Taiwan make up a significant proportion of the business.
They do have parallels with the wine market, you know, they're rare, they're desirable, and yeah, they're very, very beautiful items. And I'm a collector as well as a dealer, so I also buy myself, and I think people now really get it, you know, that these records produced then are very special, you know, so I can see why the market has been increasing.
ERC is finding new audiences for its products. The company has enjoyed a year-on-year increase in turnover of 60% since 2012.
Digital technology is inferior to analogue technology because it's limited by numbers, by bit rates. What we're doing here is remaking records from the period to sound as good as they did back then.
And do they sound as good as they did back then?
They do, yeah, and better, far better than the reissues.
The Electric Recording Company is now embarking on recutting seminal jazz works from the 50s and 60s from the archives of Concord Music in Los Angeles. Works from artists including John Coltrane, Miles Davis and Bill Evans will get the ERC treatment and will be available next year. Catherine Drew, CCTV, London.